This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Here's your report.
Oh, thanks, Jane. I wish I could hire someone just like you.
Try LinkedIn Hiring Pro. It's more than a job board. It's like the recruiter you always wished you had. Hiring Pro uses real-time insights to match your role to LinkedIn's unique network of professionals and delivers a short list of best fit candidates. You'll spend less time sorting applicants and more time talking to the right people.
Let's do it. You're irreplaceable, Jane, but another you would be great.
Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
Hello, it's Dave here. This is the final episode in our little trip down memory lane for Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. So over the last few days, we've covered Homecoming, Far From Home, and now we're reposting our 2021 episode about Spider-Man No Way Home, which we had a great time watching at the cinema because of that big surprise. And that was a lot of fun to experience with a live audience. Hard to believe that was 5 years ago. So we're going to go be seeing Brand New Day a little later than we'd have hoped. So that episode is not going to be up on Sunday as usual. We're hoping to have it up for you a day later on Monday next week. But in the meantime, please enjoy our thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. Hi, it's Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinemile, the podcast where we walk home from the movies. And we're walking to a movie today called Spider-Man No Way Home.
A movie Dave has avoided the trailer for 100 years.
Yeah, you saw the trailer. I've gone to such great lengths to make sure that I was not spoiled by these trailers. Or I don't want to know anything. I just want to see I haven't seen a second of footage from this movie, to the point where I've been closing my eyes and putting my fingers in my ears when we went to like Dune and things like that, where this trailer was popping up.
And we're going today, the day it actually comes out,
yeah, because I guarantee you Twitter is going to be filled with spoilers. I mean,
we're also going to an early evening screening, so like we're even getting in ahead of like peak time in case of spoilers. Yeah. But I feel like it's already been spoiled for me because I've just seen so much speculation about it on Twitter, to the point where like when you read that much speculation, inevitably someone will have speculated the correct thing. Well, let's talk a little bit. It's not spoilers to talk about the speculation, right? One thing that has been speculated on wildly just broke our umbrella, I think. There we go. Fixed it. One thing which has been speculated upon wildly is this is not a spoiler to say that Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe are returning as and Jamie Foxx as the villains they played in other Spider-Man universes. That's on the posters. It's been, they're doing the junket tours, so that doesn't feel like a spoiler. That's well aware. So people are speculating that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire might be in this movie as well, to the point where poor Andrew Garfield. But I just presume they are in the movie, because why wouldn't they be? Like we've all seen. Well, we have us. We've seen amazing. What's that brilliant Spider-Man cartoon? Into
the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is,
we know they're going to be in.
It's just
fun that they've probably disguised it.
Seems likely. My hunch is that it'll be a little cameo, right? It'd probably be like a stinger after the credits kind of thing, or something like that.
I just hope I enjoy it, because I actually the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, in its heyday. Was, as much as I was never a comic book person and would never have watched all these movies if I wasn't now married to Dave, me and my girlfriends went to that movie. It was a really big deal.
Yeah.
And it was do you fancy Tobey Maguire or James Franco? It was a thing.
That's the thing that...
Yeah.
Is it slim pickings?
I was Tobey Maguire, Team Tobey.
Yeah.
But anyway... It was a cultural phenomenon, when we were teenagers, that first lot of them.
And by the way, that movie holds up. I watched it last week. Caught it on TV, half an hour in. Stayed with it till the end. Spider-Man 2.
I haven't watched any of them. And then we watched... I've watched most of them. Dave's watched all of them. But the new iteration of Spider-Man's with Tom Holland. I liked when they cast him, because
he was like kind of actually looked like a teenager and not a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
And to an extent in the Avengers, I like that he's kind of a lot younger than them and like feels a bit fresher. But then the movie, the last Spider-Man, and I liked the first Spider-Man movie we saw with him, which I think did we see with Scroobius Pip?
Yes.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that, and we loved obviously having Pip as a guest for that. But then the second one, I thought was terrible. Like, I was really down on that second Spider-Man Homecoming, and I felt like it was a movie that shouldn't have been made.
Far From Home was the name.
Sorry, Far From Home. I felt like it didn't fit in the Marvel timeline after Endgame, which was so powerful. It just felt like an afterthought and like a bit embarrassing that they would have brought it out so quickly after Endgame, when like I think a moment's pause and a break after Endgame would have been more powerful than releasing that movie.
I completely agree with you.
So that kind of turns me off this movie now.
That's what we both said at the time, and I stand by that. However, I have since rewatched Spider-Man Far From Home, and I really appreciated it the second time as a movie for what it is, and I think there's a lot of great stuff in there. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is brilliant as Mysterio. There's a lot of fun to be had in that movie, but I completely my reaction, and that's what you get with our podcast, is our instant reaction coming out of the cinema, and I did feel clearly like it felt like a come down after Avengers, like it came out like a month or a couple of months after Avengers Endgame. And it just felt like,
it was so boring.
Felt like two things. I felt like this felt like a blip, a punctuation after that. A blip, that was an accident. After that huge epic event, and I totally agree they should have let a bit more breathing room, because I think we were just fatigued. At that stage I felt fatigued.
Well, I also felt like Endgame was really powerful.
Yeah.
And like something really powerful, it deserves the beat afterwards.
Yeah, instead of, right, what's next? Phase 4, let's go,
so yeah,
let's go.
A dip for anyone who doesn't know, which would be all of you. Spider-Man's like Jay's favourite superhero, and he has now become our 4-year-old's favourite superhero. It's very sweet. Our 4-year-old's just started watching that new
it basically it's called Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and it's on Disney Plus, and it's basically PJ Masks but Spider-Man, right? They literally clearly, and I think also owned by Disney, so you just can't escape it. They were like, how do we do this again?
Yeah,
they basically
but it's also Spider-Verse mixed with Paw Patrol, mixed with PJ Masks.
It's basically like Peter Parker, Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen if they were all friends as kids and have powers, and they'd basically
we're rabbiting on for way too long.
Oh yeah, let's go watch this movie.
My point was
I'm excited
that
for this movie.
Spider-Man's Dave's favourite superhero, so Dave's really pumped.
I'm really excited.
But I'm like highly sceptical after the absolute state that the last movie was.
So you get a dearth of opinions here. All right, we'll see you on the other side. Spider-Man, No Way Home. Hopefully we'll find our way home. Am I right? Dad jokes? Anyone? Is this thing on?
I refuse to answer.
Bye.
That's right, folks. Spider-Man is, in fact, Peter Parker.
Listen, I did not kill Mysterio. The drones did.
The drones that are yours.
Does any part of you feel relieved about all this?
What do you mean?
Now that everybody knows, you don't really have to hide or lie to people.
For the record, I never wanted to lie to you. But how do you tell someone that you're Spider-Man? Now everybody knows. But this isn't about me. This is hurting a lot of people. I've just been thinking about how to fix all of this.
So, Peter, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I'm sorry to bother you, sir.
Please, we saved half the universe together. I think we're beyond you calling me sir.
Okay, Steven.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
When Mysterio revealed my identity, my entire life got screwed up. I was wondering if maybe you could make it so that he never did.
Strange. Don't cast that spell. It's too dangerous. Fine. I won't.
Bless you.
Oh God, are you recording?
I recorded that. Now you can all know what Kathy sneezes.
You can all catch my cold
her
through podcast.
dainty little sneezes. I hope you are all distanced enough from your headphones from that. So we're out. We've seen Spider-Man No Way Home. This is not our instant reaction, I'm afraid, because when we got out, we had to go home to our kids to put them to bed because the movie was longer than we thought.
Yeah.
And we mistimed it.
And we waited for the end credits, which are not worth waiting for. Let's tell you that.
They're never worth it from your point of view. So let's just say that. But so if a couple days has passed, so we're sorry. We usually do. If you are new to the cinema, you usually do get our instant reaction when we come out of the movies here. Not this time. And the other thing to note is we won't spoil this movie yet until we turn to spoiler street. Unlike the bloody internet, which and I'm so glad we saw this on opening night because a few days have passed and. Bloody hell, people are inconsiderate.
Yeah, I mean, everyone spoiled. It's like, come on, it came out on a Wednesday. Like, that's very early on in the week.
At
to
least
be posting
leave
spoilers.
people like till Sunday, or just maybe don't post spoilers at all. You inconsiderate.
Yeah, but the
dicks.
problem is with this movie, and let's talk about it in spoiler streets. There's some things that are very hard not to reveal.
Yeah, of course.
But I've seen bad tweet etiquette.
It's not hard not to reveal these things. You just be silent or talk around these things.
No, there's an etiquette on Twitter where people should write like, I'm going to do a spoiler now in the next comment in the thread.
At the
but
very
I've
least.
seen people saying, I'm going to spoil it now, and then the next paragraph in the same tweet to spoil it. It's like, our eyes are faster than our fingers.
That's
like,
BS, man.
Yeah, that's not right. Anyway,
some huge stuff happens. You've no doubt you've all seen it by now anyway. You wouldn't be listening
so late
to
with
this.
this.
But we'll do a quick non-spoiler section here with our thoughts and whether or not we recommend it to those of you who haven't watched it. So let's start with you, Kathy. So Kathy, you were disappointed with Far From Home. How are you from No Way From Home?
First of all, I'm outraged that the titles of the movies are so similar.
It's very silly. It's getting silly now. Now I wish they'd just nip this in the bud and just get rid of the home thing, right?
We nip it in the bud.
I know, I always say but by mistake.
Anyway,
I thought it was but for a long time until I corrected you.
Yeah. I think that I really enjoyed this movie in the cinema.
You think that you really enjoyed it?
Yeah, I'm gathering my thoughts. I really enjoyed it. If you'd actually
You've had 2 days to gather your thoughts.
If you'd caught me a few days ago, I probably would have been more enthusiastic about it because I kind of dwelt on it a bit more.
Yeah, coming out of it, you and I were really pumped.
I was really pumped. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
We went to an early evening screening, so we had so much fun. And again, I've seen people complaining about different opinions of this on Twitter, but our audience had loads of fun with it.
And it was fun to be in a cinema with an audience who's having fun. And we kind of got that experience that you don't get in... we're in Ireland now. Shout out to the Gate Cinema in Mallow.
Yeah.
That's where we saw it. And we in Ireland, and it's the same in the UK where we live, don't get that sort of what you see in an American cinema, and we've been to a couple of American screenings, but where the audience is just like leaping out of their chair, and there's videos going around of this movie, American audiences, this movie just like wildly screaming and jumping in the air like they're at a concert.
But our audience did that, and we loved it.
They did it, yeah. And it was kind of, I got a little chill. It was kind of exciting to hear like teenage girls screaming their heads off like 4 or 5 times in this movie.
And I've seen people complaining about it on Twitter, but I enjoyed it. I don't begrudge people their joy in the cinema. What I particularly loved is because we're in Cork, 3 different times we heard someone going, would you shut the fuck up?
Shut the fuck up, boy!
So we really enjoyed that as well, which you'd never get in.
Because teenagers do also talk.
At most you get in an English cinema is some displeased coughing.
Touching.
And some tutting.
Shut the fuck up down there!
I had a load of fun with it. I actually properly enjoyed it. And we're not going to talk for very long at all before we get spoilers, because there's effectively no point in talking about this movie without spoilers.
Yeah.
But no, I genuinely had a lot of fun with it. I have of all of his 3 movies, in that sense, I thought it was the most fun. But I don't think it's as good as the first one, and I certainly don't think it's a patch on the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
You don't think so?
Nah.
I think they're very different.
They're very different, but what I think about this movie is, and we obviously already mentioned that, it's trailed that villains from other movies in Spider-Verse are in this. And I would say, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse ran so this movie could hobble.
Oh, you stole my line!
Really?
I was going to say that.
Really?
I was literally going to say Into the Spider-Verse ran so this movie could walk.
Oh, that's what hobble.
You went a little further, because I think this movie is walking. You think it's hobbling?
No,
that's a harsh
I was
criticism.
just clearly on better lines than you, and we spent too much time together.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Anyway,
I've been working on that for days.
The problem
that was my one review zinger when you were going to hand it to me. We think too alike.
Anyway, I got in there first. Into the Spider-Verse is such a great movie, such a fantastically wonderful, beautiful movie, that unfortunately it begs a comparison to this, and this movie therefore ends up feeling quite derivative and unoriginal.
But also, even if it had been the other way around, it's just a fact, if you ask me, that Into the Spider-Verse is 10 times the movie this is. It's untouchable.
Exactly.
It's actually... I realised in the 3 years since it was released, it is now my favourite movie in the world ever.
Wow, okay.
Into the Spider-Verse. I love it to bits.
But anyway, that's my thoughts on this movie.
And unfortunately, this is living in its shadow. Well, you stole all the good lines, but I'll say...
sorry, my lines weren't that good. Like, if that's all you had, I'm sorry.
That's all I had. I got nothing now. This has been the Cinemile. What I'll say is that it's sad. Like, I had a great time. I thought this was really awesome. It was an amazing cinematic experience with a fun. We had a really fun audience. I had a brilliant time.
Also in Ireland, in the cinema, they don't fill it to capacity and people wear masks. Lovely.
Yeah,
stuff.
how it should be done. I really like this movie. I think the cast is really as charismatic as ever. I think Tom Holland is great. I thought all the villains coming back was handled really well. It was a real pleasure to see them all.
Oh my God, he's incredible.
Willem Dafoe steals the show, but Alfred Molina was great as well, and Jamie Foxx. I feel like this feels like a love letter to. Into the Spider-Verse was a love letter to Spider-Man in general, and just was this amazing whip smart, funny, emotional, it was doing stuff we've never seen before. I don't feel like this movie doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like this amazing, wow, what did I just see? I've never seen a movie like that before.
I think if you hadn't seen Into the Spider-Verse, this movie would be a lot cooler.
Maybe, but what this movie, because it is an MCU movie and it's a Spider-Man movie, it feels like it's familiar. This feels like a greatest hits movie. It feels like,
and that means it's incredibly derivative.
It's somewhat derivative and perhaps lacking in originality. However, I don't care.
Well, I mean, we still had loads of fun. And
I had so much
movie.
fun, and really, this is like. Fan service gets used as a dirty word sometimes, but I don't think that should be a dirty word. I think pandering to fans is perhaps the dirty way to say that. But this is fan service, this movie, to me, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I am a fan and I ate every spoon of it, and I loved it, and I loved all. It feels like a love letter to all the other Spider-Man movies. This feels like it feels like a sort of an epilogue to some of those movies.
Went some way
some of them got a second life on this movie, and it really worked.
It kind of made the Andrew Garfield movies, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, seem better in retrospect.
Yes, exactly. It does so many callbacks and so well, and I thought thematically this movie had a bit more about it than the previous two Tom Holland ones, which I liked. But overall, is it an amazing, incredible, brilliant, groundbreaking movie? No. Is it a really, really fun MCU movie and a brilliant love letter to the Spider-Man at the cinema? Yes, and I had a brilliant time and I really loved it. So let's go into spoilers, will we?
Yeah. Spoilers.
Right, so spoilers now.
Everyone's spoiled by now anyway.
For Spider-Man No Way Home. If you've been on Twitter, then you already know.
And to be honest, the marketing's probably been adapted at this point.
It's only going to be so long.
Around. Now, guys, again, spoiler, giving you a 5 seconds
5
warning.
seconds. Take out your earphones now if you don't know and don't want to know yet what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home. So here's the thing that bothers me, right? Obviously the big thing is that, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in this. But, there's people taking pictures at the cinema of the three of them on screen and tweeting it and just, being like, oh, my God, this is amazing.
But it's just
we
all knew.
Why do you...
We all knew they were coming.
Well, here's the thing.
There was no question.
We said at the top, we kind of suspect. Nobody was surprised. Right.
What I enjoyed and what was the surprise for me is how
much they were in it.
But I don't know how they did it.
How they did it.
I think, and that was the reaction in our screen. When Andrew Garfield first walked through that
it's
thing,
brilliant.
Which was awesome, especially because it was the friend had been saying he thought he was magic. That was kind of made a joke of. He suddenly made the thing, which was amazing, and then suddenly Andrew Garfield walked through.
But you know what?
I loved that.
Do you know what was so exciting for me? This is there's few moments in the cinema where you get tingles, right? And you get it when like
you got Spidey
Captain
tingle.
America, Spidey tingle, yeah, Captain America picked up Mjolnir, that kind of thing.
I never got one for Captain America.
Well, fine, but like I did. But like that moment where like the portal opens and you just see the Spider-Man costume at the end of an alley, and he turns, and there's
he's
like
really tall
I'll
and
never
skinny.
forget that, and he's coming towards the camera, and I'm thinking, oh my god, and I grabbed your arm and said, I think that might be Andrew Garfield. and
our audience went,
and it was
wild.
just so exciting. It was like, and we'd had an earlier little beat of excitement, which you missed, by the way, because you went to the toilet, when Daredevil showed up as Peter Parker's lawyer. Something else which had been spoiled / rumoured on the internet. Like, there was nothing in this movie that hadn't been signposted or
can I just,
spoiled by the internet.
For the tape, I didn't go out to the toilet. I went out because Dave couldn't miss a moment of it.
Oh, sorry,
to ask them to turn the volume
sound was
up.
bad. No, thank you. You were a real martyr for that. Thank you. But anyway, there was another little cheer when Charlie Cox from the Netflix shows on Daredevil showed up. And the audience went wild for that. But this one with Andrew Garfield was just insane.
And I love that whole... These are the scenes that gave me so much joy, because you can tell that they're the scenes that obviously they put the most effort into because they really mattered.
Them just hanging out?
Their introductions, like when Andrew Garfield arrives and he ends up like climbing around the granny ceiling, and
there was a lot of fun
that
there.
That was when I was like, this is
the
joyous.
The granny character
like
stole
Marvel
the show.
Does humour so well, and it's what we did miss in the last Eternal movie, and to an extent this Shang-Chi movie. Like I loved that, and then I loved when Tobey Maguire showed up. I love how they did that. I loved every scene with the three of them,
and
they
joy.
did just enough. Like, it wasn't just a cameo like you said, because I think that would have been a waste. They did loads, but like they still leave you wanting more. I love how they all were like, I will accept. I love that the other two hadn't heard of the Avengers, so they're like, I only ever work solo. And then Tom Holland was able to bring something to the equation because he was the youngest and least experienced in a lot of senses. He had a lot to learn from them, but then he said, well, I've actually worked as a team, and then he kind of taught them how to work as a team. And then I love, because I really remember The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because we watched it in the cinema on our honeymoon, which is so tragic of us, but I remember vividly that
in
sequence
Thailand, and we stood for the national anthem.
That sequence of Andrew Garfield and
Emma Stone
falling, and like I recognise the visual reference to that happening again this time, but with Zendaya, and he saves her. That was amazing.
For me, that was another one of those moments where I was like, I never expected. That was a surprise in this movie for me.
I loved that.
I never expected that moment in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which that was a franchise that I think unfairly has been scorned and burned by the general consensus is it should die. They should never have done it. Andrew Garfield
himself hated it, which is part of the problem. So the film clearly was creatively bankrupt. Those films, they were like, oh, we need to redo it before we run out of our license.
Yes, but
it wasn't the new MCU that Tom Holland got to come into.
No, but there was a lot of good in there, and I thought Andrew Garfield was an excellent Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and he got a second chance to come back, and he and Tobey Maguire are having so much fun. You can just tell they love wearing these costumes and having fun and hanging out. But
also, they get all the pressure taken off
that moment where they paid off his like guilt and regret at losing Gwen in like, I never expected to get that on cinema again,
and so I never expected to remember that scene on cinema again.
For me, that was the huge surprise from this movie, was not that they were in it, but that they're really in it. Like, I really thought it was just going to be a little joke cameo, like what we got with Tom Hardy and Venom. I thought that's what we were going to get for Tobey Maguire. Like, I honestly thought it'd be him down an alley being like, hey, where am I? And then he disappears.
But particularly because you always have a sense, or I've always had a sense, that Andrew Garfield didn't enjoy the experience, and I kind of thought they mightn't have gotten him back.
Yeah,
I think these actors, this is a perfect way to come back as Spider-Man, right? Because they don't have to do any press junkets because they were kept a secret. They get all the exposure with because everyone's speculating about them without having to do press junkets.
However,
but then they also don't have to be probably in like a 12-month shoot. I'm sure they still did a lot of work, but like,
I'm sure they got paid a lot of money as well.
Yeah,
but
I was thinking, I reckon they got paid more than Tom Holland.
I did feel bad, however, for good question.
Based on nothing.
That is interesting.
Based on nothing. I'm just trying to figure out how much
I do wonder though. I do feel somewhat bad for Andrew Garfield though, because you say they didn't have to do a press circuit. Andrew Garfield was doing the press circuit for the Lin-Manuel Miranda movie, which he stars in, Tick Tick Boom. Mm-hmm. in the weeks preceding this movie,
and he's always been asked
and was
about it.
absolutely harassed and hounded. But the poor man wanted to talk about the movie, which he's clearly very proud of and stars in, that he's there to talk about.
Yeah, but the marketing department of Tick Tick Boom would have been delighted about it.
Yeah, I guess. But like, all he got asked every time was, "Are you in the Spider-Man movie? Are you in the Spider-Man movie?" And he just started saying yes, sarcastically. Yeah, no, I'm definitely in it, which made me think, oh, he's just not in it. He's taking the piss. So I think well played by him, first of all.
But I remember reading like that there was like a really contentious relationship between him and the studio. Do you know what? This was probably in a piece that was supposed to be about Tick Tick Boom, and he refused to like leave his room to publicise the movie and like all this kind of stuff. So that's what I love. I love for him that he's got to come back in this positive experience. Tobey Maguire's probably having an absolute laugh. He probably got paid millions of dollars to show up here.
There's a clip with Andrew Garfield. It was on some show. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like actors interviewing actors, and I think it's Emily Blunt interviewing him, right? And they're talking to each other. And he starts going in on Hollywood and and blockbusters and commercialization and how soulless they are and how they can destroy a young actor coming in. And she basically tries to change the subject to save his career. But he was...
He's like, I mean Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was like so on the nose, but he's very eloquent. I have a lot of time for Andrew Garfield.
I think he's brilliant actor.
I've just got to say, like, for me, that was the joy of this movie. I think...
But if they didn't do this in this movie, like, let's be real, this movie would be so boring.
There's
no point to this movie.
Stop stealing my thoughts. This is exactly what I was going to say.
By the way, we don't talk after we've recorded the podcast.
We have not talked in 2 days at all. No, we don't talk. We've been living like monks in our house.
We have a motto for the podcast, which is like save it for the streets.
You save it for the streets.
Which usually we've just
because we realised early in this podcast, even like we usually save it from the streets, from like the credits to getting outside, because normally a movie finishes, you turn to each other and you say, oh my God, that was good, wasn't it? And we when we started this podcast, we were doing a bit of that on the way to getting outside, and then we'd hit the recorder, and then there's a reluctance to repeat yourself, and we realised that we used a lot of our good conversation. So we have not. This is all fresh. Me and Kathy's reactions.
Except that we both turned to each other in the middle of one of those brilliant scenes of the three Spider-Men. We're like, we love this. Like, we both said that.
But that's the thing, right? So, like you just said, if you take out the banter of the three Spider-Men, which I could have just watched another hour. If this movie had just been them hanging out in that lab and like fixing each other's backs, and like
when Tobey Maguire says to him, "You're amazing," I love that. And I loved when Tobey Maguire was like, "Oh, I can shoot web out of my arms," and they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then that's like all kind of just left up to the imagination. It's so fun.
Now, all that stuff is great, but you're right. You take away that stuff, what else is left in that third act? I gotta say,
nothing.
A very messy, muddled, and very ugly-looking fight scene.
Yeah.
I thought the Statue of Liberty climax was really poor. I thought
it was in the last movie as well. They were in like the Washington Monument, and it was like a waste of time.
No, Washington Monument was the first movie. The last movie
they were
was
on a school tour
much
or somewhere.
better climax. It ended on either Waterloo Bridge or Tower Bridge, I think, in London. And there's drones there, and honestly, that was a lot clearer and easier to follow.
But it's almost like in the writers' room, they're like, Spider-Man can go up really high. What monuments can we use this?
I gotta say, and Statue of Liberty just feels
lame.
A bit like, and also they did that at the end of the very first X-Men 20 years ago.
They also did it in every other movie made in New York.
So obvious, but also it was just honestly, there's some really good action scenes in this movie. I thought the Tom Holland, Dr. Octopus on the when he first encounters him on that bridge, very well done, very clear, easy to understand.
Aunt May dying, that scene was good.
The whole Aunt May dying thing, from beginning to end, was for me, I think, the standout here.
Yeah.
From that moment,
it's also like, but she had to die, so again, it's just incredibly predictable and derivative.
Yeah, but I like that they twisted it with the Uncle Ben thing. Then they paid it off again when the two guys talk about their Uncle Ben. So for me, I thought the emotional payoff in this movie worked really well, and also the end emotional payoff with Peter Parker not existing, I thought was handled really well. But just back to that whole middle action sequence, from so awesome, this moment when you've got Peter Parker's spider sense tingling in a room of 6 villains, and he's looking around like, which one is it? I've never seen the spider sense used like that, so that was really original and impressive. And then that moment where he realizes it's Willem Dafoe, and sticks his arm to so awesome, and everything
Willem Dafoe's like born to play this role.
Now everything on there on out worked really well, and was really this fight he has with the Green Goblin is just really like brutal, and like it's like a punching match, and they're going through walls, and then it ends with that horrible climax. So I thought that was excellently well done. Now the reason, if you ask me, the way that worked is because they benched all the other villains, right? So Doc Ock versus Spider-Man, beginning on the bridge, very fine. Then him versus Green Goblin. The end is just a muddle.
Spider-Man fixed Dr. Octopus. I thought that was lovely.
So cool.
Yeah.
But the end was just a muddle, right? An absolute muddle, just like the first Spider-Man 3 was, which felt very like that. They were all on it was the same kind of thing. You had Venom, you had the Green Goblin, you had Sandman, you had him on some scaffolding.
But isn't it the third act of every Marvel movie, though?
Well, yeah, but I think they could have done a lot better here. And
why was the Sandman completely CGI'd? I've tried Googling it and I still can't figure it out.
Yeah, we can't figure it out. I think Thomas Hayden Church is the actor. Did he not? He clearly hadn't come back because he was in sand form for so much of the movie and didn't need to be. And also, your man Rhys Ifans clearly didn't show up either.
Maybe they just like, how many actors' salaries can you pay, and it's the middle of a bloody pandemic?
Or they just said no. Like I told you, Hugo Weaving said no to coming back as Red Skull in Endgame. Anyway, the other thing I'd like to talk about in this movie that I think didn't really work was Doctor Strange.
Oh my god, I've been dying to talk about it.
Yeah.
It makes the actual core magic thing. There was no way Doctor Strange would have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I found
wild.
it so annoying.
Yeah, it's so unconvincing.
The setup for this movie, by the way, which is in the trailer, which I've since watched, and I'm glad I didn't. Like, there's so much of this movie's in the trailer.
Yeah, by the way, when I say I watched the trailer before, I paid no attention to it. So
Right,
I didn't remember
clearly.
it. I was just like, because you were so adamantly not watching it, I thought, I'm going to watch it now.
Why would he look at the cost?
Yeah,
that
outrageous.
was on the table here.
Oh, I'm sorry,
First
you
of
and your
all,
little friends can't get into the school you want. Who gives a fuck?
Now, they kind of try to make a reference to it when, at the end of the spell, he's like, oh, maybe I should just call them. And he's like, what? You didn't even call them? I thought this was the last resort.
They would have had a conversation about it.
Have a conversation. And if you'd had a conversation to brief him properly, he wouldn't have whatever, quote unquote, ruined your spell by interrupting it. But, like, I'm sorry, it's all Doctor Strange's
But also,
fault.
can I just say, if you're going to magic, because you want these two people to get into college, you make a very tiny spell that just magics the two of them getting into college.
Yes.
You don't rip apart the universe and make someone not exist anymore.
Exactly.
Like, I was so profoundly annoyed by all that stuff that I had to park it because I was like, I'm actually enjoying this movie and I cannot question the plot holes.
And it was really stupid. I've got to say,
stupid,
for a kick-off to this movie, I feel like they could have figured out a better way for this to happen.
During the spell, it was like Peter kept saying stuff and then Doctor Strange kept altering it, and then he got cross at Peter through, and it's like, man, you're the bloody magician.
Yeah,
Don't
just
be giving out to the
shut this thing down. I know.
Who's clearly self-centered and wants to go to university with his girlfriend.
The whole thing is Doctor Strange's fault.
Yeah.
It's not Peter's fault.
I'm actually a big fan of like WandaVision and Loki, right? So I was kind of interested. I was coming around to Doctor Strange, who I don't like. I was kind of interested to come around to his multiverse movie, and now I'm like, this is what we're dealing with, an absolute dumbass protagonist.
I gotta say, like, I like the movie Doctor Strange. I've watched that again recently, and I like all the mystical stuff.
When are you watching? Is this when I go to bed?
I went through all the Phase 2 and 3 stuff again recently. But I gotta say, I'm still not loving Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange.
But not only does his performance not work, but the character doesn't work.
Yeah, the character. I just like
terrible.
It feels like he's trying to do as that movie felt like it was. It's like second-rate Iron Man, which
I
is
want to see the
funny
character
because
from the Loki series. That's the multiverse character I'm interested in. I'm not
what
interested
character from the Loki?
I'm not going to say anymore.
Oh,
but
you
I
mean
am not interested,
the thing at the end of Loki?
I am not interested in watching Benedict Cumberbatch be in yet another movie and wander around casting poor spells. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're Doctor Strange. You're either the best wizard in the universe or you're not. This is not interesting to me, to watch you bumbling around being a poor magician and having no logic when he used to be a doctor.
However,
right?
yeah, he was a doctor.
So, like, where's the intellect and where's the magic?
I mean, yeah, very disappointing. Poor show by Stephen Strange. But however, what I will say is that I've just remembered my actual favourite action scene. There is good action scenes in this movie. Is the one where he and Spider-Man are fighting, and then they go into the mirror universe, and Peter beats him with geometry.
That was class.
And for all of that stuff, looked amazing, and I thought it was really well done. And so,
isn't it interesting that 2 out of 3 of the Spider-Men are actually English?
Yes, it is. Isn't it?
I also have to say, like, it's a marketeer's dream because Zendaya is obviously brilliant. She's a huge celebrity, and the fact that it's now been made public that those two are actually dating.
Yeah.
So you've all the hype around Tom Holland and Zendaya, and then you've all the hype around the Spider-Verse coming. Like, this movie, I haven't seen box office numbers yet, but like, I'm presuming it's huge.
But also, I read a quote from Amy Pascal yesterday, the producer, who said that she had kind of quietly tried to discourage them from getting together a bit, and she apparently had said the same thing to Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, who got together on the set of Spider-Man.
Did Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire get together?
I think they might have been a bit of a thing. Yeah. So
it's like, look, we're going to shoot a movie together 12 months.
It's the Spider-Man curse.
And Zendaya's just been in Dune. Anyway, I wanted to say I really enjoy Zendaya and the other friend character. I really like them both.
Ned, yeah.
And I love that Ned actually has the magic now. I really enjoyed that.
And I really liked the end of this movie. I thought
they just need to leave it alone now. Like, don't show us another Spider-Man.
I liked the way I thought it was really emotional, that decision he made, and I thought it was like these three films kind of feel like the origin story of his Spider-Man, right? He loses his Aunt May as his Uncle Ben. He does the great power, great responsibility thing. He has made sacrifices. He's now staying out of his friends' lives, just like Spider-Man does.
But he's already been Spider-Man
them.
for years, though. Like,
yes, but it's kind of like he was just a kid learning to be Spider-Man.
I love when he said to the guys.
He's now literally graduated from high school.
I love
and he's
when
in
he
a
said,
shitty
"I've
apartment."
been in space." And they were like, what?
Yeah.
Again, I just love the little tidbits they were giving each other. But I just think, like, my overall disappointment with the movie, because the whole movie I was waiting for Miles to show up from Into the Spider-Verse, and I kept saying today, Miles is going to show up, and I had
You thought he was going to show up in animated form?
I thought he was Bugs Bunny style going to be animated.
Yeah.
Because Into the Spider-Verse was so creative and cool and had wacky shit like weird Spider-Man.
Well, why not?
That I thought he was
why
going to
not
show
bring
up?
them from Into the Spider-Verse 2, which is coming out next year?
I'm sure they'll cast him with a human. But I just thought it would have been so class to have him show up either as a human or an animated figure.
I think it probably would have broken the MCU a little bit, maybe.
But why though? You bring in the other one.
Okay,
or they could have brought in the Nicolas Cage one.
I have a question for you, right? And I've been doing my research and trying to find an answer for this, and I can find none on the internet.
I mean, if you, a Spider-Man and MCU diehard fan, can't find it, I certainly
think it doesn't exist, or there's an explanation, but it has not been given yet. So, the Doctor Strange says in this movie, he says that the spell went wrong, and everyone in every universe who knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man is now coming here, right?
Yeah,
those are the stakes.
No, but then he was like, luckily I've closed up most of the portals.
So he got most of them out, yeah. Some of them slipped through, and they were going to return them, and then they stopped everyone else, right?
Maybe he closed the portal to the animated world.
Here's the question. Here's my question to you. Why is Tom Hardy there? Because not only does he not know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, he doesn't know that
He
doesn't even know there's a Spider-Man.
What do you mean he doesn't know?
Tom Hardy is from the movie Venom, in which there is no Spider-Man, as far as we know.
Yeah, but we don't know what's been going on in Venom's. There's been another Venom movie that we haven't seen.
Yeah, here's the thing, which we haven't seen. You and I haven't seen that, but I just did discover in my research of trying to answer this question for hours on end.
So you're about to spoil Venom for people who haven't seen it.
I will. All right, spoilers for the after end credits of Venom: Let There Be Carnage now. So you've got 5 seconds, and I'm going to spoil the after credit, which I didn't give a shit about, but I read what happened.
Okay, so guys, fast forward 2 minutes.
Fast forward a minute, and you'll skip it. But at the end of Venom: Let There Be Carnage, the second one, in the after credits, you see Tom Hardy get zapped out of his world, and then he's in this world and sees Tom Holland as Peter Parker being unveiled on the screen. So that was apparently a big moment.
So he does know who Peter Parker is.
That's after he got taken there by Doctor Strange. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
So why was he brought in by that spell?
I don't know, Dave. Much like the internet.
Anyway, guys,
you've asked me a dead
listeners,
question.
answer this question,
because
please.
Because they wanted Tom Hardy to show up in the end credits.
Yeah, I know. And they're obviously setting up like Venom leaves a little bit of spunk behind, so it's clearly going to be like
the Spider-Man
Venom
were like,
in the MCU.
Where is your wrist the only place that webs come out of? I found that really funny. But come here, look, we could talk about this movie all day, but it's freezing cold.
I think I just got to say, I feel like at the beginning of this we unfairly compared this to a far superior movie, which I do believe it is, and I think a lot of people might have thought, oh, they Dave and Kathy didn't really enjoy this. That's not true. We had a great time.
It's just like
really enjoyed it.
There's
but
the
it
difference
is
between analysing a movie from like how much fun I had in the moment and how I think of it as a film.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I really don't think there's all that much originality here. I think it's just let's do a sort of a lap around. Let's do a greatest hits of Spider-Man. Bring everyone together, and it'll be lots of fun.
Hit/dying breath. Like they can't make another one. I mean, they will at some
they're
point.
doing there's rumours of a whole other trilogy with Tom Holland, but apparently he's out of contract. So
Tom Holland's a really good actor. Actually, I think he's brilliant. I really like him. Do I think we need to see 3 more movies of him as Spider-Man? No, give us Miles.
Does he want to be in 3 more movies of Spider-Man?
There's enough. His
career's taken off, right?
There's enough going on with the Spider-Verse that like we don't need to see the same actors again playing Spider-Man. Like there's enough going on. And actually, give us Gwen. Give us Spidey Gwen or whatever she's called.
All right.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. We've just found out if you listen to us on Spotify, and I think if you Spotify Premium, you can actually start rating podcasts over there. So we'd love if you could give us a rating there. That would be awesome. Also
or on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening. And don't forget, you can follow us at the Cinemile on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or email us thecinemile@gmail.com. And also, if you'd like to support the show, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/thecinemile, where we just finished episodic weekly reviews of Succession, and we've just done what we've been watching covering Hawkeye on Disney Plus, amongst other things, and just like that,
over 20 movie reviews and like dozens and dozens of TV reviews over there.
Loads of stuff there.
And in the month
for £2 or
£3
a month.
Everyone who subscribes to our Patreon in the month of December, their money, 100% of it will go to Care for Calais, which is a really wonderful charity that works with refugees in Calais. So if you subscribe to us in December, all your money will go there, and you'll get all TV and movie reviews. So head over to patreon.com/thecinemile.
Okay, bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Hello, Peter.